Welcome back for the final installment of our hype train for Encore Season 2. Charles, we are talking about gangs.
Gang, gang.
Gang. It's completely reworked. Yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, definitely. Thinking about gangs a lot differently season two than we did in season one. A lot like how we talked about careers and jobs, kind of really putting all of the tools in the player's hands. For that, we're doing the same thing with gangs. So there's not really going to be a distinction between a server recognized gang or not a server recognized gang. If you want to be a gang, you are a gang. If you say you're a gang, if you establish yourself as a gang, players recognize you in character as a gang, you're a gang. There's no, vetting process or anything like that you have to get approval by staff to call yourself a gang. Now, what there are their game mechanics and advantages to truly establishing yourself in the city as a gang. So there are territories and territory wars that you have to defeat to unlock certain advantages of being a gang, right? So if you want your gang to have a territory and things like that, there's a territory kind of a war system for that, right? And something that's kind of exciting about that, if you're going to go take over a territory that's unclaimed, is it's totally player versus environment. Like I mentioned in a couple of the other videos, a big focus on creating kind of fun gameplay mechanics that are PvE. So that territory war to gain control over a territory is totally player versus environment. It's you versus the NPCs, and while you're fighting the existing local gang that controls that territory, you're not going to get the cops called on you for shots fired and things like that, because we just want you to be able to have some really good fun with this really hectic, crazy war. There's lots of challenges that you face during this territory or this turf war. You got to bring a big crew with you. You got to be ready. You got to be geared up to kind of do that. But that's all an in-game mechanic that you get to go do, and it's something that you just get to do with your friends without interference from outside parties. And so there's a number of territories scattered across the map that will be controlled by local gangs when season 2 launches. And as you gather the resources that are required to go have those turf wars, you can go try to gain control over that territory.
That's amazing. So this is in the same vein as the careers, and just making sure that this is really accessible and easy to on-ramp to for all players, and making this a really creative aspect of character development.
Sure, yeah. Big focus on everything in season 2 being about your story and about developing your character and providing the tools for you to just, go in the city and do that.
I love the autonomy behind a lot of the mechanics that you've created here, as far as making sure that it's really is up to the player. There's not a lot of interference from staff or even other mechanics in the game that might otherwise prevent that particular RP from happening. That's incredible. Talk a little bit more about the territories and the stash houses that we're going to see.
Definitely. So once you have conquered your territory, you become the controller of that territory. And one of the benefits, and this is of course why you don't want to just call yourself a gang, but you want to go establish yourself and go claim a territory for yourself, is the advantage of having a stash house in your territory. And you can place that stash house, the leader of the gang can kind of set up that stash house wherever they would like, and that's going to be restricted to just you and your crew members, and then of course anybody else that you allow to come in with you. That gives you a shared stash for storing all of your illegal weapons or drugs or anything else. Stash houses come with a crafting table. It's not something that you have to go buy. If you've got a stash house, you've got a crafting table right there in your stash house. And just kind of a private area in your territory to kind of base your operations from.
That's really cool. It gives a little bit more value to actually having a staff house as well. Tell us a little bit about. I'm really interested in this, bribes and
bribes
and craft. Let's dig into that a little bit more.
Bribes and crafting, definitely. So that's one of the other big advantages to controlling a territory. We've got a good friend, DeAndre, who has moved into Los Santos. and he's very well connected with the locals. Really, really good friends with them. So, if you go and you make friends with DeAndre, he can help you out with a lot of things that might be advantageous to your gang. He can do things like pay off the locals to ignore gunshots in your territory for a while. So, if you're anticipating a big war, or you just need to execute somebody, DeAndre can help make sure that nobody interferes with that. You're trying to get a stranglehold on the drug market. DeAndre can make sure that the locals kind of turn a blind eye to those drug deals in your territory. So DeAndre is a very, very useful tool for gangs, and can really help you run your territory and take your territory to the next level. And then, of course, crafting, which is a brand new mechanic, or more or less a brand new mechanic in season 2. Crafting you'll be able to do a huge number of things with crafting, from removing serial numbers from guns to crafting fully automatic weapons, to crafting tools for crime. All of these things are craftable, and some of those things, while anybody can go get a crafting table and do some crafting and craft up what they need, some of those items that you can craft require a recipe. And as a gang, you can kind of buy exclusivity on a given recipe. So you're going to be the gang that runs semi-auto or full auto pistols, right? Little compact machine guns or something. You can kind of get exclusivity to that crafting recipe and kind of control that item in the city for a given amount of time. That's not something that lasts forever, of course. But there's a number of mechanics there that can help your gang kind of establish themselves and give your gang some things to control. Of course, all of this is in game. This is all stuff that you get to find out where and how and when and why to do all of this stuff. But it gives your crew a lot of options for establishing your reputation as a gang and deciding what your gang is about.
Okay, that's actually pretty cool, man. Especially knowing that DeAndre is going to be a very important person for us to all get to know. Well, maybe not all of us, but I'm sure a number of you are already getting excited about meeting this strange fellow. Charles, this has been incredible. I'm personally excited to be here in the engine room of the hype train with you. I can't wait for what's to come. Do you want to close us out?
Yeah, absolutely. Season 2, the development of season 2 has been incredibly fun. Put a lot of focus into the little details, really rethinking what roleplay can be and trying to build some really great mechanics around that. Putting the power in the player's hands, giving you everything you need to write your character's story. So just overall, incredibly excited about the opportunities for criminals and civilians and everybody else in between. I think you will find that there is something for everyone in season 2. And I can't wait to see you guys. Tomorrow, 8 p.m. US Central Time is what we're looking at. And I can't wait to meet all of you in the city.
Awesome. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, future Encoreans. We will see you real soon.